Hey y'all, it's your girl. What's up? How you doing? How's it going? hmm Happy Sunday. Today is April 6th. Yep. Today is April 6th, Sunday. Remember that time is fluid, so whenever you see this message, it's when you're meant to see it. It's a general reading. It may not resonate with everyone, so please only take what resonates and leave the rest. All right. I'm going to share this with y'all this morning as well, so take it how it resonates. I hope it resonates. It says, this is today's daily devotion. When storms come. All right? So I feel like it's a good time to put this out here for everybody because we all go through storms, right? How do we get through those storms, right? How do you respond when facing challenges? All right, it says, this is going to be a reading from Matthew 14, verses 22 to 33. If you want to read it on your own, there it is. Storms are inevitable. Now, please take this message not as a religious thing, but take this as a spiritual message, a message of apply it to your life. Don't look at it as where the message is coming from, right? Just take the message. Thank you, Spirit. Storms are inevitable. In nature, powerful tempests leave a changed landscape behind them. Similarly, challenging circumstances can alter the topography of our life. When difficulties arise, how do you respond? Do you say to the Lord, I am doing what you asked, so why is this happening? Raise your hand. Okay? Such thinking assumes that being in the center of God's will exempts us from problems, but we know better, right? This is in order, when we're allowed, to go through things, those are the times when we should call on Him the most. And often. The most and often. Oxymoron. Okay. All right. Such thinking assumes that being in the center of God's will exempts us from problems. In Matthew 14, we learn that Jesus instructed the disciples to get into the boat and go ahead of Him to the opposite shore. While they were obeying Him, high winds and waves developed. Storms can arise even when we are exactly where God wants us to be, right? We ain't did nothing wrong, right? But sometimes it might feel like that, right? But that's also an opportunity to check ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Even if not, there might be some area we might be slipping in or sliding back into, some kind of behavior or something. Right? It's an opportunity to check yourself as well. Another question we sometimes ask is, Father, what have I done wrong? Come on, Spirit. God does use trials to correct us. Man, listen. But not all situations come from our mistakes. All right? He may allow troubles to perfect us. That is, to mature us and grow us into Christ's likeness. The mold to shape you, right? You know, a diamond has to go through fire and a lot of pressure. And that's, it's like training a soldier, right? God uses different things to train and equip us because He wants each of His children to become a strong, vital servant of the Lord Jesus Christ, realizing that nothing can happen to a believer unless God allows it. Okay? Instead of keeping our head bent low against the struggles of life, let's look up to the Lord and seek His purpose in our challenges. What does He want me to learn from this situation? That's not going to happen overnight, immediately, but the fact that now you know how to look on another side of something, right? That gives you an upper hand. That gives you, opportunity to pay more attention in that area, so to speak. All right. Let's see what it says here. Matthew 14, 22 to 33. Immediately He made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of Him to the other side, while He sent the crowds away. After He had sent the crowds away, He went up on the mountain by Himself to pray, and when it was evening, He was there by Himself, alone. But the boat was already a long distance from the land, battered by the waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night he came to them, walking on the sea. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified and said, "It is a ghost," and they cried out in fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Take courage, it is I, do not be afraid." This is the storm, right? We're in our storms, right? Some of y'all can understand, some of y'all can confirm, right? You're in a storm, whether that's a physical, spiritual, or emotional storm in your life. There's a storm going on. There's a dismantling. I heard towers, right? And towers don't mean like a destruction, but towers can mean the falling down of how we used to think, how we used to see shit. Now all that shit comes crumbling down. You see some other shit now. Now you see some shit in a different perspective. You feeling me? All right. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid." Peter said to him, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water." And he said, "Come." And Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water, and he came toward Jesus, right? But seeing the wind, the storm, right, he became frightened, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and took hold of him and said to him, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" When they got into the boat, the wind stopped, and those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "You are certainly God's son." Why do you think he lost faith, right? Why do you think he lost faith? Why do we lose faith? Why when we get in the storms, right, we lose faith? You know, it's like, on one hand, we say, God has brought me a mighty long way, which is true, right? We believe that because we overcame the obstacles, right? So we believe that shit. We know that shit. We experienced that. Still, we get in this place when we overcome some things and things settle for a little bit and we get comfortable and we think we're supposed to stay in that energy. No. We are never to get comfortable in our positions. Come on, Spirit. That's what I heard. We are never to get comfortable in our positions. Yeah. Soul's journey. What's going on in the energy? We're never to get comfortable in our positions, and when things come up and and we overcome it, we become stronger in our spirits and our emotions, in our minds, right? But still, when we're in our situations, we don't, God, why? But it's always going to be something else. Like, the world is transforming, and I feel like God is trying to prepare us all, right? So that we can adapt to what's to come, right? So that we won't feel lost and unsure or insecure, right? Anyway, that's the word. All right, I wanted to share that with y'all. Y'all take that and apply it to your life if you need to. Read the word yourself, which I'd highly recommend because God might show you a whole nother perspective, right? But yeah, it gets hard. Yeah, there's days where I don't understand how come things ain't how I want them to be, and peep this shit. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know what I want. Now listen, don't get that misunderstood by I don't know who I am. I know who I am, and my environment is who I am, and it's peaceful, it's quiet, right? And I feel comfortable, I feel safe, right? Because I don't have no big old dog here, you know what I'm saying? Or no big old brute man on no 24-hour basis, you know what I'm saying? Mind your business. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. It don't even matter, even if, God is in charge of everything. If he allows it, right? That's what he said. If he allows it, understand. It's not what is the lesson that I'm finna learn here. I can get there now because I've had to sit still and recognize and understand. But sometimes it takes a long time for us to get the energy of having to be out socializing and being a part of society when, because there go the bells. Thank you, confirmation. Because all that does is teaches us how to be codependent, and God said we don't want us codependent on nobody or nothing. There's gonna come a time when all these tangible things are not gonna be there. How you gonna survive? A lot of people are gonna run towards stealing, lying, and cheating and killing to survive. And a lot of people are going to sit back and know that it's God. And because we've already detached ourselves from the material shit, we ain't crying. And then, nope, it ain't that we just settled. I don't mean settle. Strike that from the record. We've adjusted to sustaining ourselves with God's spirit and his spirit alone. We are in the desert, right? But we ain't talking about, I want some meat, and I want some chicken, and I should have stayed where I was at least I would have. Listen, don't say that. Don't say that. Be grateful that he took you out of the pit. Don't forget how hard it was back there to survive, and all the attachments and shit that you had. Stop playing. Listen, I'm grateful for my water. Thank you, Father, that you provided me clean water today. Right? And I got enough fat on me that I think I can go at least 2 weeks. I got enough blubber. Thank you, Spirit. Come on now. And he'll make a way, man. He always does. Always, man. Don't complain about where you at and you think it woulda, shoulda, coulda. Because listen, I'm grateful for right where I'm at. Yep, and where I'm going, he promised me something and I believe it. Who's in two minds? Conflict and confusion. Mental conflict. What's this that's sticking up? Oh, temptation and intuition. Ooh. So somebody needs to pick. Somebody's in mental conflict with their intuition and temptation. In two minds about something. Because they're discontent and bored. So somebody could be in the energy of feeling like, taking this journey is not, it ain't worth it, or they're feeling like there's a dissatisfaction. Somebody could be literally mourning the past, their past life, because that's no longer their life anymore. Yeah. Somebody could feel isolated, alone. What's the spirit? But see, joy comes in the morning. This is about you transforming. This is about you resisting and listening to your intuition to, again. And still, I'm getting, again, somebody being in two minds. So there's something you need to sacrifice in order to have your wish fulfillment here, Spirit saying. All right? And it's something about a door, going through a door. Grabbing the key and going through a door. I don't know what it is. Y'all need to sacrifice. Oh, we got a spiritual union behind this too. Movement, choices, and decisions. Somebody needs to make us, I don't know. Something about you, though, discontent and boredom, though. Don't let, like I said, don't let because things aren't moving as fast as you like, because things haven't materialized, as quick as you think they are. You be patient, right? Because God's timing is not our timing, right? But also understand this is time that you're supposed to be maturing. This is time you're supposed to be getting comfortable with yourself. And if you get comfortable with yourself, you won't be in this energy. You'll start wanting to make more and more improvements on yourself and your environment. Because, see, your happiness comes from within. And once you realize that, being by yourself won't be a problem. You'll have a problem with people trying to get into your energy. That's going to be the problem. And this is where you're going to be like, That's something that somebody could be struggling with, in two minds about. It's something about resisting the past, letting the past be the past, and moving forward. There's no excitement. Somebody doesn't have any excitement in their life. I've been patient long enough. That's what I heard. Let's get something going here. I'm in the mood to heal. How about y'all? I'm in the mood to heal. I'm just going to get one of these. I may not get some tarot. We see how far it goes. Spirit, give me one of these self-care cards. What advice do we have for the collective that's feeling like... Yeah, this could definitely be a test, all right, of your patience, of your perseverance. Maybe God's trying to teach you how to persevere, all right? Like, remember what I was talking about being in the desert for the 40 years and how a lot of the people were complaining that they should have stayed where they was at. They ain't got no food and all this and that. They wanted meat and they wanted this, and then God put a rain down meat on their asses, and killed, and all of them perished, dead, gluttony and greed, and he was, that's the way I hear it anyway. Yeah, he gave them exactly what they wanted, and it killed them all right there on the spot, because they were ungrateful that God had took them out of bondage. And how dare they say, you know what I'm saying, we want to go back. And to what lengths did God go to the freedom that he took lives? Man, listen. He took lives to save you. And then you get out there because you're impatient. You can't wait for it to get here. You want to grumble and say, oh, I want to go back. It was better. At least where I was at, I was happy. At least I had friends. At least I had this. At least I had that. Come on, Spirit. Pleasure. Somebody's sacred chakra. That too, right? Your purity, right? I feel like with you keeping your intentions pure, yes, it may be, an energy of you feel alone or isolated or something like that, right? Because you know why you feel like this? Because going back to your past behaviors doesn't fucking fit. That ain't your problem. There ain't nothing you can do about that shit no more, because you're not walking in that energy anymore. And moving forward, you don't know what the fuck to do. This is different. I understand that completely. I might still be in that fucking energy like, what the fuck now? Right? But this sacrifice will be worth it. That's what Spirit is saying, that your sacrifice will be worth it. You will overcome this, okay? You will overcome this if you just remember what's the purpose, right? If you trust in whatever journey, if you trust in God, I'm going to talk about it. You trust in God, right? Then you know that you just need to be a little more patient, okay? Well, we got health checkup. Some of you guys could need to get a health checkup, all right? Take that how it resonates. Something about your sexual health, because that pleasure keeps coming up. So some of y'all could need to get a checkup. Thank you, Spirit. And write a gratitude list. What did I say? Remember where he has brought you from. Remember where he has brought you from. Brought you from a mighty long way. Let's be grateful. Let's not forget, because times and things and situations aren't manifesting in our life, because God knows that whatever he about to bring you, right, you have to be able to handle it. And he want to make sure that you can handle situations that you don't even see coming. All right? You can't see as far as God can see. You're not God. God can see infinite. He created it. He already know the outcome. What's the message? Or you could get a good, somebody could write a gratitude list because they are in good health. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit, that's something you need to be grateful for, that you're in good health. When you're getting bored and you started thinking about the past, look, be grateful that you're in good health. We forget about that part where it woulda, shoulda, coulda been, huh? Okay? Child, please. And surrender, because you surrendered. That's why man, listen. You surrendered that, yes. You didn't lead yourself into temptation, and that may have saved your life. That's what I'm hearing. Come on, Spirit. What we got here? Connect with fire, your sacral chakra. Your soul tribe. Things you're passionate about. What else, Spirit? Some of you could be in the medical field and look to the stars. That's all the zodiacs in there, right? Because we all have all the zodiacs in our star system. Look to the stars. That's where everything's happening, in the stars. Ooh, sing. Somebody could like to sing. What else, Spirit? Look to the stars. Somebody could be an astrologist, I'm picking up, okay? Let's see. Make a meal. Healthy eating habits, right? Maybe some of you guys need to change your eating habits. That's not something you can find out when you go to the doctor. All right, eat healthier. I don't know. I'm picking up get some kind of guidance, like astrology or something like that. Maybe you guys could read your zodiac. You could get that free on Google. It's free on the internet, on YouTube, all over the place, right? But that's a little different. I mean, no, I take that. Strike that back. Strike that from the record. That came out wrong. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. Whatever is comfortable for you. Okay, can I get one more, Spirit? Oh, got a couple. Spend time with animals. If you have animals or out in nature, go to the zoo and connect with your ancestors. Ooh, there's a lot of spiritual connection here for you guys. And look, and use your hands, it's still there. Some of you guys could do some kind of pottery art or something. You could do wood art. You could like to use your hands to create art, okay, out of objects, ordinary objects, create things. Natural elements, stone, wood, metals, like that. All right, clay. What else we got under here? Look at all of that. I ain't gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. Anyway, yeah, connect with your ancestors. All right, your ancestors are in you. You know what I mean? Because if we think about it, the first human had seeds, right? The first woman had seeds, and that means your seed has been in her womb. Do you understand what I'm saying? You came from the first seed. Any woman, any man came from the first seed. We're all byproducts of that first seed. Ain't that something? Ooh, so Eve carried the world in her womb, the universe, the entire human race in her womb. Ain't that some deep shit? And Adam, okay, you get a little credit. You seeded it, but I think God could have did that shit without y'all. I really, really do. I think he could have did it without you, but I regress. I digress, not regress. I digress. Spirit, what's the message? I'm just saying. I think he could have did it without you. Getting to know each other. Some of you guys could be getting to know new people. Okay, as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. This could be friendship. This could be romantic. Ooh, what's that fell out? Unrequited love. Okay, there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. That's for somebody I do not know. Something about children here. Your love life is being affected by your children. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody you could be getting to know. I feel you may feel like that's unrequited love. They don't feel the same way as you feel about them. What else? That's too many. All right, we're going to take those and leave it. Give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnerships, okay? Partnerships, that means family, friends, and workers. So soulmates, family, friends, co-workers, those type of people, and lovers. Chemistry, past life relationship, and playfulness. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. Yeah, you may be physically attracted to somebody, all right, but this person is not for you. Yeah, this is somebody from your past life. This is somebody that's bringing up past life energy for you to learn something from, to see if you learned a lesson from that past person that treated you like shit. Well, there's a new person coming in that you may be very drawn to, but this person is a test. Playfulness, don't take it serious because this person is just a test. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. It's a test. All right, y'all. I'm going to end it right there. Okay? I see you.